In this training video, we will go through additional mFiles functionality like assigning and completing tasks, requesting new versions, and uploading externally released documents that were from previous revisions. The first thing that we'll talk about is assigning tasks. So in this scenario, you have a document that you need to get additional information from, but you don't want to route it through a traditional review and approval workflow. So if I go into this, I can either check it out or read only. So I open it up. At that point, if you look in the bottom right, you can see that it's been checked out to me. Once the document's open, I realize that I need more content. I close it, I check it back in so another user can access it, and it disappears from the checked out to me. So if you look at the metadata card on the right, I don't need to complete any of this information to assign a task to someone else. So in the left-hand taskbar, I click Create Task. Once the metadata card opens, the name will be pre-filled with the document title. You can change that to reflect however you need the task to be done. So let's just say Standard Operating Procedure Review. For description, you want to enter what the task is that needs to be completed. I'm just going to say review and add content. The document's pre-filled. I can then set a deadline if I'd like. I'm just going to set it for Friday, and then I can choose from the drop down whether I want all assignees or any assignee to complete the task. I'm going to say any assignee. The next choice is you can choose to assign it to groups. You want to make sure that you know who is within that group so you're not just sending tasks to a lot of different people. For me, I'm just going to choose assign to because I'm only going to have one user that I'm assigning it to. I'm going to assign it to myself, a test account. I can assign it to as many people as I would like. I can choose anyone from the dropdown, or I can enter the name and it will pre-fill. The notification frequency is how often you want to get notifications. So you can choose none or after any or all assignees complete it. I'm going to say all because it doesn't matter in my case. Monitoring is in case you have someone else that would like to receive notifications when the task is complete. No one in the situation, and I'm going to click Create. Once that is created, it will send a notification to the person you are assigning the task to, and it will show up on the mFiles client and under Assigned to Me. So as I refresh it just to get back, I can also see on the calendar, it's set the deadline for the 25th. I can click on that there to see the task. Under Assigned to Me, I can also see more information regarding the task. If I single click it, I can see the metadata that we just completed and what the task is. I can do the drop down, see who has it been assigned to. I can also see the document that it's related to. If I highlight that document, I can see the metadata associated with it. I can also double click on that document. Everything you need is within the Assigned to Me. Once I've completed the task, I want to single click on the task itself. That'll bring up a state transition on the left-hand taskbar where I can click Complete Task. I can add any notes, or I can just click OK. At that point, I'll have to put in my Windows password to sign off that the task is complete. Once that's done, it will remove the Assigned to Me task, and it will alert the person who assigned the task based on their notifications that they desire. You can click under the common views for task. You can see tasks that are currently awaiting completion for you. I don't have any currently waiting for me. If I was to go back now, I can see completed tasks. These are tasks that I have completed. As you can see, this is the one on the bottom that I just completed, and you can see the status as complete. The last view that I can see is tasks that I've created. You can see the status, when it was completed, and if I clicked on it, I could see the metadata related to it, so I can see the employee that has completed it and when it was completed. The next topic that we're talking about is requesting a new version. If you have a document that's released, say it's in revision IR, and you want to move it to revision A, the way that we do that is by creating a change request. I'm just going into the history. I see the document that is previously released. I can preview it or check out the metadata on the right. If I go to the Documents tab, I can see all of the documents. The document that I need to revise is the working copy. If I double click on that right now, all that it's going to do is open a read-only copy because it is currently released. To request a new version, I'm going to click under Document Actions, Request New Version. When I click on that, it's going to pre-fill all of the metadata except for a reason or justification. You can enter any reason that you would like. Usually it's revision A or revision B or whatever revision it will be, and any details associated with that new revision and what changes need to be made. When you click Create, that is going to trigger a password that you need to enter, which is your Windows password. You go ahead and click Sign. This is now going to send a notification to the owner of the document. This is the person that needs to approve a new revision of the particular document. So let's go back home. Since I am the responsible person in this situation, I would receive an assigned to me that says that I need to complete the change request. So if I single click it and look on the right, I can see all of the information that was previously put together. I can see the working copy that needs to change, and I can choose to approve the change request now if it needs another revision. I can send it back to draft if they need to add additional information for a reason, or I can cancel the change request. I'm just going to approve the change request. At that point I can add a comment if I'd like. I'm not going to, and I'm just going to sign off here with my Windows password. Once that happens, that's going to change that working copy from Rev.IR to Rev.A. The released copy will remain the same. So under the common views, I can either go to Doc Work area and I can see the new version of the working copy, or I could just go to the search. And I'm going to type in the document number, it's 112. At this point, the document collection will come up. I can choose the drop down. I can see the released copy, which is revision IR, but I want to look at all of the documents. When I click on the caret next to that, I can see this is the working copy in revision A. At that point, I am now able to check out Rev A from the working copy and make the necessary revisions. One thing that I can also do is check the metadata just to ensure that it's still current. You can make modifications when they're in draft, or just check out the document. The next functionality is externally released documentation. So if I have a document that I released in M-Files that has revision A, but does not have revision IR because that was released outside of M-Files previously, I need to be able to upload revision IR to M-Files for consistency. So I'm looking here to see which documents there are. There is only a working copy and the released copy of revision A. They're both effective. I have my revision IR offline, so I need to put that in there. So I can just drag it in. I'm just going to go to the home screen, so it's dragged to a blank page. I go ahead and drag that in. At this point, the metadata card will appear. I need to choose the class, the caret next to quality, and externally released document. The name is going to appear as it's saved. We want to make sure that there's consistency, that the title of the revision IR is the same as revision A unless it was different. For description, you can just write a description of what that revision is. I'm just going to say externally released version. Just a brief 1 to 2 sentence description of this particular document. The next thing that I need to do is attach it to the controlled document. So it's a standard operating procedure. I can either select it from the dropdown or I can just type the document number in. I know that this document is ATEC Pro 109, so I'm just going to type 109 and the dropdown will come. So it's going to ask me if the responsible person is the same. In this case, it is the same. It might not be. You do not have to click yes to pre-fill. You can change that as needed. The effective date is the date that this copy was released. So I'm just going to choose a random date in the past. Let's say 2016 and sometime in May. The external version, this is the version of this document that was released. So IR is that version for this one. And the revision scheme is going to be Aerotech for this one. You want to be consistent. When you create that, it's going to be assigned to you still because you need to sign off that it's been routed. If I look down in the assigned to me, this is the standard operating procedure. I'm going to single click that. It's going to bring up the metadata. I'm checking it to make sure everything's right. Then I look at the state transition on the far left, and it says route for authorization. When I click route for authorization, it's going to ask for comments if I'd like to attach any. Also, I'm going to enter my Windows password here. Basically, this is saying that it is ready for archiving. So I go ahead and sign. At this point, data control will be alerted, which they can complete the process of archiving the document. So let's take a look now at this document once it's been stored. It's under the same document collection. If I go to documents, it's going to say standard operating procedure, Rev IR. It is superseded. I can see that it's been retired because there's a newer version. And if I preview the document, I can see that there's watermarking saying that it's been superseded. So this is how you would add an externally released document.